It's time for the SVU After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are talking Season 19, Episode 21, Guardian. We're going to talk about Tiana, her brother, whatever he does for a living. So much to talk about. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello. Welcome to the SVU After Show. This is the greatest remix of the theme song I think I've ever heard. I'm so excited. I'm loving every minute. I'm Yael Tygiel. If you haven't already, go to youtube.com. Look for AfterBuzz TV's drama channel. I think I'm going to have a seizure in a second.
I know, this is a lot.
Yeah. The drama channel is where we live. That's right, the SVU After Show. Again, we're talking Season 19, Episode 21, Guardian. I'm joined by the lovely Taylor Gates.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Are you in the live chat?
I am in the live chat. The Wi-Fi's being a little slow, so I can't see anything now, but hopefully that changes.
Yes. So if you're watching us live, chat. If not, comment below.
Yeah.
Below.
Just let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, we want to know that you're live. Let us know what you think of this. Could we get some information about who this is that we're listening to?
Anthony's talking a lot, so I don't want to be on, but it's the Lit Theme remix by Remix Maniacs on YouTube.
I'm obsessed with it. I'm downloading this as soon as I get out of
I
the
kind of
show.
want to listen to this as I
All
fall
the
asleep
time.
every night.
You'll wake up just like a new person.
Yeah, I think it's so refreshing. Okay, before we jump into this episode, I would like to remind everyone of the National Sexual Assault Hotline. It is 1-800-656-4673. If you're in any situation and you need someone to talk to, if you were assaulted, if you need someone to talk to, 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-HOPE, H-O-P-E.
Awesome.
Boom, I did that. Great.
You did it.
That was me being responsible. Here's me being irresponsible. In a lot of these episodes, things get really dark. And when they get dark, we have to make light of them because that's how we deal. Because we're terrible people.
We're looking on, you know, it's our perspective.
Sometimes it's dark and sad and scary. And you get angry, and the only way to feel okay about it is to say something really inappropriate. And that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
So
it's our brand.
Yeah, you have been warned. Continue at your own risk.
Yes.
Boom. Okay. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was very solidly written. I think that there's been a
Tell me,
pattern.
writer.
Well, I think that there's kind of been a pattern in season 19 at least where I don't know, I said it last week how I feel like there's one ending and then I'm like, "Oh, we still have 5 minutes left." And so they're doing a really good job kind of wrapping things up and putting nice bows on it, which I enjoy because I like the shock factory endings, but I also kind of like it when we do revisit people after the big crazy almost cliffhanger.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll talk about that when we actually get into it, but
I was torn. I think I really like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts that I don't like this, but I think I really liked this episode.
okay.
That is what I think.
That's what you think.
I'm pretty sure in 3 months when I'm watching a marathon and this one comes up, I'm like, oh yeah, what a great episode.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely happening before I rewatched this episode today and after I rewatched this episode today. Because yes, there was a marathon on and I was watching it.
When are we not? Let's be real.
That's true. All right, so let's start from the beginning.
Let's do it.
But I would like to, before we actually do, tell us about our guest stars today. So Tiana is played by Rachel Hilson, who is on Rise, a show that you cover.
Yes. I don't know who she plays on Rise, though.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Or Melody. One of those musical names. I want to say it was Harmony, though.
Okay, maybe she's a little bit of a smaller role then.
Yes, but she is on Rise.
Awesome. She's very talented then. She has to be able to sing and dance if she's on Rise, so.
I mean, not if she's somebody in the background. She doesn't.
I mean, a lot of them do the group dances.
And then Malik is played by an actor called Rotimi. I'm not sure if that's how he pronounces it, but that's how it's spelled. Who's on Power.
Okay, yeah, that's a very popular one.
Yeah. And then also, for those who didn't notice, their lawyer, Mr. Carter, is played by George Wallace.
Awesome.
Oh, George Wallace. Okay, so that's the cast I just felt like that needed to be said.
No, yeah, for sure. We love the little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
About, like what everyone's on.
Good stuff. Okay, so we start with the boys in the bodega. They almost get arrested, and then here's what, upon rewatch, the friend claims that Malik's sister was raped. When they were getting arrested, he's like, "We were trying to get help. His sister was raped."
Oh yeah. Okay, that's true.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then we head to the playground. Tiana's on the ground, and she doesn't say she's raped until her brother's like, "I know you were raped. I'm gonna kill these guys."
Yeah.
And I didn't catch that the first time.
I didn't catch that either. I've only watched it once, obviously.
Right.
I just watched right before I came in,
I've
but I
now
didn't
seen it
realize
3
that
times.
either. Well, there you go. That's a good catch.
Yeah, well, I didn't catch it the first time because I'm like, how did she know to say that?
Right.
It was weird. So she's like on the
Planted the
ground,
seeds.
kind of like confused, but she doesn't start screaming and freaking out until after her brother's like, "I'm gonna kill him."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Got it. This is what we're going with."
Ooh, that's very clever.
Yeah. What's really interesting is later Rollins says something like, "Oh, he must have gotten to her on the playground. She had to cover for
Yeah.
him." And I went, "When?
Yeah.
When did
there
that
was
possibly
no
happen?"
time.
That was it.
That little line.
Yeah, we missed it.
Wow, that's really smart.
Is a very, very smart episode. So Malik says there was 6 of them at gunpoint. He is her legal guardian. Their mom is in prison, and we get to the hospital. We find out that she's on heroin and alcohol.
Yes. Darn. Because she did well on a biology test.
Yeah, so he got her some vodka.
Congratulations on knowing DNA. Let's get lit.
I just don't understand vodka.
I guess.
Like when you celebrate, you know what you get?
Like champagne.
Champagne. You get champagne.
We're drinking straight vodka.
Right,
Congrats.
cranberry juice at least. You know what I mean? Like
No, it's
just
just
vodka.
we're
And
not
heroin.
we're not messing around. And heroin. All right.
Which was also interesting that when the doctor was like, "No, we're not calling, like, he's her only family. We can't call child services."
Yeah, she's like, it's your call. I was like,
"What
okay.
kind of doctor
like,
are you?"
yeah. Don't make them feel bad for literally doing what they're supposed to be doing.
And what you should be doing, the girl's on heroin.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
We see a lot of this. That does not mean you don't call
Yeah.
child services.
Yeah, there was like a very like bleak tone to this one because at the end, not to like rush ahead or anything, but at the end they're like, we've already had 10 ODs tonight, like we don't even know.
Right.
Maybe it's like just they're really kind of pounding the fact that this is in a really like bad environment and kind of ties into Finn's background and everything like that.
Yeah,
But,
that would make
yeah,
sense because
that
it
was awful.
definitely felt like they were forcing this. Like they come from a terrible place.
Right.
Finn grew up in a terrible place.
Yeah, they're really drawing those parallels out.
In case you didn't catch this, Finn grew up there. Yep.
What?
So surprising.
Yeah.
Before we move on to what Finn says to Malik in my favorite line of the episode, why don't you tell us about a beautiful, wonderful woman who did not grow up there?
Yeah, let's do that. Do you guys want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life? For those of you who do, we have got the podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition is hosted by our AFTERBUZZ TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. From health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister you have always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us, the SVU After Show, who sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition. Check it out. Really, really great advice. Really great podcast.
Yes. You know who could use this advice?
Everyone.
Yeah, Tiana and
But
Malik.
especially Tiana and Malik.
Because the advice Malik got from Finn.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about this line.
This is my favorite thing. So when Malik is giving his statement and he's explaining that there were 6 guys and one of them threatened him with a gun, and by threatened he means lifted his shirt and showed him that he had a gun. I don't know how much of a threat that is. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like that's a threat.
It's clearly a threat, guys. And he's like, they said it to leave her or they'd shoot me. He's like, I didn't have a choice. And Finn's response is, sure, you had a choice.
You take
a bullet. You don't leave your sister alone.
I was like, what? And Yael walked in right when I was at that part. She's like, this is my favorite line. And I was like, I just wrote it down and underlined it like 6 times. Who says that?
You take a bullet.
You take a bullet. I feel like she would not be cool with that.
No.
No.
Well, I also feel like, how would that help?
Exactly.
'Cause-
Now she
'cause
has
now-
no family and she's getting attacked.
Because like you've been shot and you can't protect her, so you're now
Exactly.
stuck there bleeding out, watching her get raped.
Honestly, what a line.
You take a bullet.
That's the worst advice I've
Yeah,
ever heard.
seriously. If anything, if I have two brothers, and if I were in this situation, I would want them to go and get help.
And get help, exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Well,
In theory, in
supposedly.
this situation where it to have actually happened,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Not to sit there and get shot.
Yeah.
You take a bullet.
Just take a bullet, man. Come on.
Finn.
It's not like that he's like even far, like he's in close. He would die.
Yeah.
Like, he would die. All right, Finn.
Greatest line of the episode.
Like, you tried it, but
Okay, so then we find out they took her purse or something, or that someone's
he
using
took her bag. Yeah.
took her bag and is using her card.
Food card.
Snap. Card. So I wrote card. And that leads us to Four Stroke, whose name is Ray Wallace. So Ray Wallace is a man who has 4 babies from 4 different mamas.
Yes. 4-stroke. Naturally.
I wonder if that was how he got that name.
Oh, what else would it be?
I don't know.
I guess maybe there's some like weird lingo behind it, but that's what I assumed.
Oh, because does that mean that if he has another child?
He's 5-stroke.
I see. So every child, his name changes.
It's every stroke he gains a stroke.
Okay. So anyway, they break into his house and he's like, I didn't rape her. I loved that this
love
woman
that.
was like, excuse me?
Yeah, and they're like, we didn't even
Yeah.
we didn't even mention anything about why we were here yet.
So
Classic.
funny. So then I was positive that he raped her.
Yeah, right? Like when someone blatantly says that, it's usually a tip off.
Yeah. But he didn't. Turns out he heard from these 3 boys, and then we meet the greatest grandmother ever.
She's wonderful.
Dorothy Hall. I liked her.
She's like, I know you're not here for me.
Yeah, she was like,
She's incredible.
which one?
Yeah.
Oh, I liked her a lot. I
Yeah.
hope we see her again.
Right. Every week we're like just these minor characters. I hope we see them again.
This episode had a lot of fun characters.
Yeah, they did.
Because I
Not
really,
as good as Train Lady from last week, but
Train Lady, I think the male lady was better last week.
they were both pretty wonderful.
But I really like Dorothy Hall, and I also really like their mom.
Mm-hmm.
They were great characters.
Yeah, they were
So,
wonderful.
2 great women. Anyway, so then they go chasing after the boys, and I think second best line of the episode is pro tip: run
Yes.
in different directions.
Because they all just sprint to the same fence and they're, oh my
And then
gosh.
they get stuck at the fence. Like, why would you all live there?
Yeah.
You know where
You know the
exits.
area. We're gonna climb this fence.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. They tried, but not hard enough.
Well, so I think that plays into my a great line that came out of Olivia. There were a lot of great lines.
There
this
were.
episode.
There were some great lines.
Is when they explain that they paid for Tiana and that Malik was the pimp, and they tell the story, and she's like, that's a really sophisticated lie for that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's true. They did all run to the fence.
Yeah.
They don't seem smart enough to come up with that.
I mean, everything was like organized very like well in this episode. They were smart about the awful stuff they did.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that this episode, played very well, tying everything nicely together in the way that, like, upon second watch, you see that it was the friend that said that she was raped. Malik says it before she starts shouting it. The boys run to the fence because they're dumb.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they can't be smart enough to say this.
It's very like intricate. Like there's a lot of like web kind of.
Yeah.
Had to be spun for it for sure.
So we meet their lawyer, Mr. Carter, and we find out that Malik is pimping out his sister.
Yes, but can I just say,
Yes.
I love how every single time there's a new defense lawyer, they're like, oh, have you heard about him? He's a legend. Everyone's a legend, apparently. Like, there's not one lawyer that's like, oh, he's all right. Like, they're all amazing.
Or who's that?
Who's that? No. Have you heard about him? He did the blah, blah, blah case.
Yeah.
Like, every time.
But he did have a similar story to another character that we had talked about earlier.
Yeah.
He did have a similar story where he was helping people, and now he's like defending scum or something.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like Bayard Ellis's story, where he defended scum and then became a Innocence Project
Yeah.
guy.
In the episode with the piano girl. That was
Yes.
his first appearance. Ugh, one of my favorites.
That was his first appearance?
I think so.
No.
Was it not? Maybe
don't-
I'm completely wrong about
I don't
that.
think so. Piano Girl was also on before I watched this, and then after I watched it was a different episode.
Piano
Anyway,
Girl
that was
episode I love.
I like that one. I like that one where because they ask her why she held the door for him in
Yeah.
the elevator, and she's like, I didn't want to be
seem
racist. That's such a great line.
It's like fair enough.
yeah. They're
but-
like, oh, okay.
Gosh.
Because she was.
Yeah.
So funny. I think maybe it was a racist marathon. Because then it was the episode.
I wouldn't even put it past USA to like they just could find a marathon for every occasion.
Yes. But so the episode that played after was the one where the girl, her grandfather raped the guy who came into her bedroom's grandmother. Because he was a Klansman.
Yep.
It was with Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in.
Yeah. Maybe it actually was. Now that you say that.
Yeah,
you know,
right? It's a
thematic.
racist marathon.
Honestly, USA.
Could've
They
been.
probably named it something else, but
Right,
very
right.
well could have been the theme.
Anyway, back to this episode. So Malik is pimping out his sister. They look at his financials. They get $350 in assistance. Their rent is $2 something. What?
They got flat screen.
Yeah, but how cheap is that rent?
Well, because it's like through a
Housing.
program.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I'm still.
Yeah, honestly, $200 a month.
Yeah,
That would be incredible.
I know. Although it's not that great of a neighborhood, I hear.
Nah, I don't think so. It's kind of the oh my gosh, what's the college? The bad college in this.
Hudson University.
Yeah. It's like maybe in the Hudson area or
Yeah,
something.
of course it is. Anyway, so then we find out that there's no trace of how they're making all this money. Maybe he is pimping out his sister. And Carter's daughter is going to rep Malik.
Yep.
I don't know why that was, like, necessary.
I don't really either. She was good.
She was great. I really liked her. I think it was a conflict of interest, though.
Yeah.
Because his case and her case negated each other.
Right. I don't know.
It
I
was
don't know
very
how
weird.
it worked.
It was very odd.
Very odd.
So then we find Bobby Jackson. I liked Bobby Jackson because he was like, no, I come in with things to tell you. Bobby Jackson was their driver.
Yes.
Who also kept meticulous notes.
Okay, Bobby.
He had names, dates, and cash amounts because he had to keep track of his cut. So Bobby's talking to Carisi, and he says that Malik treats Tiana well. He doesn't beat her or take a taste of his own product. Another great line from this episode. Carisi says, so we're supposed to feel great about this guy because he doesn't sexually abuse his own sister?
Honestly, I'm like, yes, exactly.
When he said that, I was like, did you just say that he doesn't take a taste of his product, meaning his sister?
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Treats her so well.
He's so nice.
you.
Thank you. He's so nice.
So Finn points out that he is the worst kind of predator because he betrays his own.
Yes, he does. Finn was very angry in this episode.
Oh, Finn. We'll talk about Finn.
We'll talk about Finn.
Finn's got his own section.
His own
All right.
section.
So
It's
we
time to shine.
yeah. So let's get to court. Stone is in court.
Yay. We're so enthused.
Stone. I didn't like Stone in this. I mean, he was fine as our ADA. He's doing a great job. I just don't like him in this case.
Why not?
It felt, he feels, and this is probably me projecting. Here's how it feels. This case felt like a rich white man yelling at these poor black folk. And I don't know that SVU needed that.
That's a good point.
There were moments where the way Stone approached things felt like he couldn't possibly understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, clearly. And I'm like, shut up. You don't know.
Not clearly. Let's talk to someone else who gets it.
Yeah. He reeks of privilege.
Yeah, he does. Just his overall character, like
Yes.
even apart from this case, he's very much like the privileged.
Right? He's the father of a legend.
Yeah.
Or the son of a legend.
We're just gonna go through all the things.
He's the
Son of a legend.
Thank you.
But he has a sister who's sick, so we're supposed to feel bad for him.
Also, why is his shirt still on?
Every week you're gonna ask this question.
Yes. It's a valid
He took
question.
it off like once
Did
in his
he?
office. Yeah, to either change or because he had something. I don't remember why, but he did take it off for like a split second one time.
Interesting.
Just go back and watch that scene over and
I
over.
It just, I didn't like him in this. But especially then when Tiana clearly doesn't want to be there and he's like permission to treat her as a hostile witness.
Do you know exactly what that means?
Not exactly.
I don't either.
But I believe that it means, I'm going to say something and someone's going to be like, that's not what it means. So I'm not going to say anything. Google it. Pull it up.
I did mock trial. I should know, but I don't know.
I
We
also
always just kind of
took law
joked around.
classes.
Yikes.
All right, I'm Googling everyone. You start talking.
Is it just okay? I'm gonna theorize about it, and I'll see if we're right. Hostile witness. You would think that it's like they're being actually hostile, but she wasn't being hostile. She was just being not cooperative. So is it just if you don't cooperate?
No. So a hostile witness is a witness at trial whose testimony on direct examination is either openly antagonistic or appears to be contrary to the legal position of the party who called the witness.
Okay. Thank you. That makes
you.
sense then.
So then he called her to testify against her brother, and she was choosing not to. So he's like, now she's hostile, and I could talk to her a little more, not leadingly, but like the way he asked the
Right.
question was a little more leading.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then. Cool. Glad we cleared that up.
So glad Google exists.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm saying you're welcome because I am Google. Great. So
The voice of Google.
I am the voice of Google. So then the defense decides to call in the mom.
That was like I didn't see that coming at all.
You didn't see the mom coming?
No.
I didn't either. I was wondering who they could have possibly brought in.
Yeah.
I was like, are we bringing in Four Stroke? Like, what's happening here?
Stroke.
That's his name, right?
Yeah, I just think it's a funny name.
Ray Wallace.
Ray Wallace.
Yep. Yeah, so they brought in the mom, and I really like that Stone is like, can I prepare? And they're like, no.
You have lunch. All right.
But you know what I liked about this judge is she felt very fair.
Yeah.
Because every time either one would object, she's like, no, I'm going to allow it.
I'm gonna allow it. Yeah, she
Every
allowed
time.
everything.
Yeah.
I like it.
Which is fair.
Yeah, make it more fun. We don't need rules.
So Stone prepares the best that he can.
Yep.
And what
It's
does he
pretty
do?
darn good.
Yeah, he brings in the mom's victim, and he's like, it goes to credibility. It's the best I could do on short notice, which I would have been like, contempt of court.
Yeah, it was so shady. And a lot of
Rude.
other judges would have been like that too, but she was like,
She's like, that's fair. I did only give you lunch.
I kind of sucked, but
So then it turns out, this is on all caps with exclamation points in my notes, Malik pimped his mom too!
what?
That was a big old twist.
That was a big old twist.
Did you see that coming?
No. I didn't see the whole second half of this episode coming.
Really?
Yeah, no.
So that's what I think I really liked about this, was that like we went from this kind of cut and dry, like I thought it was going to turn into when they were like, it's 6 guys and there was 3 guys and it might have been gang related. I was like, oh, this is going to turn into some weird, interesting, like that episode where the guy brought his gang in and let them rape his girlfriend, and she climaxed with them and wouldn't climax with him, and so it became a whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be similar to that, where like he brought in a gang to initiate so they could rape his sister.
Yeah. It was different. Like, this was so different than anything we've seen, I think.
Yeah, we have not seen the brother pimping out the sister and the mom.
No, that was shocking.
So good.
Shocking.
So then Tiana ODs. And then we have this weird Benson Tiana moment.
Well, before that, can we back up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm just kidding, actually. We're going to get to that with Finn. Sorry, proceed.
Okay. So this Benson Tiana moment where she's like, I talked to your teachers. You were good in school. You were a great student, a straight A student, a great writer, and you were smart. You loved Wonder Woman.
Did you like the scene? Okay,
No.
I did, because I feel like whenever I'm feeling bad about myself, I'll just watch that scene and like be given a pep talk from Olivia. Like, if I ever need to like be reassured that I'm worth something, I'll just put that on and then I'll feel okay again.
Okay. I watched it and went, Benson, do you know who Wonder Woman is? Because you seem to be real confused about like what her smarts and Wonder Woman and saving people, what all that has to do with anything.
Why?
It just felt like she went, you like Wonder Woman.
So this clearly
Also,
means
good things.
yeah.
Yep, I saw the movie. There were horses. Like, that's what it felt like that pep talk was.
SVU has a weird thing of like bringing in specific things and then it's just too weird. Like when they brought in the Cronut, I remember like they brought in a song by like Ingrid Michaelson in like season 13, but it just felt so weird when they like name specific things. That's fair. I'll give you that.
It felt like one of the writers wrote, like, oh, this would be a really great touching moment. And then one of the older writers was like, I don't know what this means, so I'm going to rewrite it.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, it was a little bit, it was a little rambly.
Yeah. So, anyway, turns out her OD, she got the drugs from Malik's friend.
Yep.
Who told him to take care of it.
Yep. Yikes.
What?
Yikes. Trying to make that go away with tainted drugs.
That's his sister.
Yep.
Wasn't this the great guy who didn't take a taste?
Honestly. And that's the thing. Like, I really, like, even when he was pimping out his sister, I was like, oh, he's desperate. Like, he has to do it. And then he got sinister when he just kept doing stuff. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think he was the villain at first, honestly. I was like, yeah, this is not a good thing, but they need the money, and, you know, I get it. And it just got real dark.
I was wondering, the more I thought about it, what it was that they were going into the bodega to do. Because that was what was interesting, is later, like, Finn quickly, throwaway line is like, oh, he probably had to, like, deal with some drug deal that went wrong, or something happened, and he had to deal with it and his phone died.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it was that led to this.
That's a good point. I do too.
It felt like there was something much more important going on.
Yeah.
That we're ignoring completely. And I think it was interesting that Malik became the villain. I thought it was going to be that, like, the friend was like, turns out Malik is the leader of a group. And so they did this without his say-so.
Yeah.
To get him out.
Nope.
No, he did it.
He's the worst.
Crazy. So then Tiana speaks and tells everyone about how he was abused, and they make a deal, and he gets 15 years. Yep.
Good.
And then Finn. Let's talk about
Finn. Let's talk about Finn, baby. I don't know why I just did that.
I don't know, but I like it a lot.
Finn.
I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so Finn says at the end of the episode, he says it's not about what happens to you, it's how you deal with it. And we have that really, like, short scene with him and Benson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about
Yeah,
earlier.
where she's like, you don't talk about your childhood. He's like, back at you, Liv. I was like, wait, we know a lot. Her mom was raped by her dad, who we now know is Simon Marsden's dad. Mm-hmm. Her mom is an alcoholic.
She doesn't necessarily talk about it, though. It kind of just happens to come up.
During cases.
Yeah, of course. It's never going to come up during a case.
But Finn never, like...
No, he really doesn't.
No.
We know nothing.
Except for when he says stuff, and then he just goes, I just know stuff.
Yes. Don't ask me.
Excellent. Yeah, it was very interesting to have... And then the only things I know about Finn, right, is through episodes where Ken is involved, or the entire Luda arc, which is one of my favorites when Ludacris was on.
Yes!
Rewatching the episode where Luda's in court is one of the best episodes.
I love the fact that he was on this.
He deserves an award for that.
Yeah, he does.
Luda. I do shout in my house every time that episode is on. I shout,
as
Luda!
you should, as
Luda!
you must.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the episode, Benson tells Finn to go home, and he's like, what? Go home and feed my parakeet? Do you remember a few episodes ago, or was it last season? I don't remember when it was, when he was like, what, should I get a parakeet?
Maybe he did. Did he get one, or is he joking?
I don't know
if we don't get a case involving Finn's parakeet in one way or another, what's the point?
Or like even a joke about like Franny attacking his parakeet.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Yes.
want something. I want to know if it's real.
Me too.
So then he video chats Ken, and I assume at this moment that they didn't have budget.
Oh yeah, they didn't hire Ken back for this
'Cause
episode.
I was like-
it's a child.
So first off, Jaden answers the phone.
Yep.
So we assume that Ken is holding the phone.
I guess.
At that angle, Ken is holding the phone. And so he's talking to Jaden. He's like, I'm going to bring pizza. And I was like, is Ken not going to be like, great, we'll be here. Or see you in 10.
No,
No.
they're not.
Silent.
They don't. They don't. They're not gonna hire him for one line.
Why? They brought him in just for that clown.
For the clown cake. Such a good one. No.
What
yeah.
did you want to say about Finn?
I just want to talk about the moment with him and Liv, because maybe there is a deleted scene, maybe there is an extended scene. I definitely wanted more between them because they have such a fun, like, good relationship, and we don't get to see it that much.
Yeah, they've been there the longest.
Yeah.
I mean, she has, and then he was second.
Right, and we don't get them interacting that much, and so I really kind of wanted more from that scene. And I don't know, this whole episode as a whole was kind of marketed as this huge Finn episode,
Right.
and it kinda was.
No, he was just lead on the case.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely promoted as he's going back to where he came from. So I expected a lot more of, like, I remember this street. When I was little, it was like this. Nope, he just happened to be back, except for that one guy in the story. He's like, I come here a lot. Or, like, I have friends that can help us.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I love how we get the, like, store owner who's also not going to cooperate. No one's going to show you their security cameras. That's what I've learned from this show more than anything.
Not without a warrant.
Not
they won't.
without a warrant.
I really liked Finn and Carisi working together. I feel like we don't get enough of that.
Yeah.
And I really loved them working together.
Yeah. They're a good pairing for sure.
Yeah. We have some news.
Yeah, we do.
But before we do news, do you have a poll this week?
Guys, I do have a poll.
Yay!
It's so Finn has some iconic lines, like so many, and so I just chose 4 like random fun ones that I like a lot and that I know are popular. So
I'm
go.
so excited. What are the lines?
Okay, okay, hold on. Sorry. Don't look at me. I just know stuff.
Yep.
A great one.
That's from Lowdown.
That
Or
good
Down
job.
Low.
I think it's low down.
Yep.
Down low sounds weird.
Okay.
Fact, you are all now my bitches. That might be my favorite. I adore that one so
Okay.
much. I will never understand white people. Fair
Classic.
enough. And then like there's one where he's like, there's a whole site dedicated to women's butts. Something's wrong with that. Do you remember that? Where there's just a wall of like the backsides of women.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
from that was the meat episode.
Yes. Oh, the meat. We do not talk about the meat episode enough on the show.
Well, that's the one where Olivia goes undercover at the
Yes.
meat company.
She doesn't speak English. She's like mopping
She's
stuff.
supposed to be Russian.
Oh my gosh, what a weird episode. I think I just kind of blocked that one out just because it's so obscure.
I think the company was Mama Rosita.
That sounds right.
I think, and she's not really Italian.
No.
Oh,
No.
great episode.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that tonight.
I may be
think.
mixing up episodes, but I don't think so.
That sounds really
Yeah.
familiar.
Such a good. The Wall of Butts. Yes.
The wall of butts.
Great poll, and we will tell you where to find that in a bit. But we have news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so this is the biggest news in
Ever.
SVU history. SVU has been renewed.
For season 20, which, fun fact, the mothership, the original Law and Order, had 20 seasons. SVU is going to at least match it, if not surpass it, which is pretty darn good for a spinoff.
Yeah, really likely though it's gonna surpass it
I
by
hope
a lot.
so. That would be so cool.
This show can't end anytime
can't
soon. The other news is the finale, I believe, is a 2-hour season finale,
Yes.
2 episodes. I think it's called Remember Me 2.
Yep.
So big news. Definitely coming back for season 20. Also, for anyone who cares about the other Dick Wolf shows, the Chicago, 3 shows, PD, Med, and Fire, also renewed. Great. Woo.
I can't wait for Chicago Walmart and Chicago the beach. Just, I don't know. Anything with a word after it with Chicago before, I would be like, yeah, that's a real Dick Wolf show.
Is that why? But Chicago Justice. got canceled.
It did. Poor Chicago Justice.
And then we got stuck with Stone. So, you know. All right, let's head into predictions.
Let's do that.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So next week, it looks like we have an episode.
We do have an episode.
Dealing with the elderly. That's right. Old people getting raped.
Unfortunately.
Yep. And they may have Alzheimer's or dementia or something. It's some sort of, I think it's in a home.
Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like.
And that they are not, no one's believing them because they have some sort of
Yes.
mental something
That
because they're
is
old.
Also what I gathered.
Yes. Predictions.
I don't know. Maybe Stone will come more into it because of his sister.
Oh, maybe.
I just thought of that right now.
That'd
but
be
that would make
interesting.
sense.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Because, so we had a Rollins-centric episode. We have a Finn-centric episode.
Yeah, maybe we're making the rounds.
Yeah, because we also had a Carisi one this season with his niece. Okay, I'll allow it. I would like that, I think.
They didn't promote it like that, though, so maybe that's not true necessarily.
Yeah, but this episode, so you said last week something very, very wise. You said that last week we were super excited about it and it sucked. And this week we were super not excited about it and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So maybe next week, which I'm not excited about because elderly rape.
Well, but there was a really great, it wasn't elderly, and I'm just kind of fuzzy on the specifics, but do you remember the episode where
Give me
the
anything.
woman couldn't talk and she could only blink
Yeah,
or like move her finger?
Yes, that episode had the guy who was in The Blind Side, which Sandra Bullock won the Oscar for.
Yes.
He was the nephew of the woman. She was an opera singer. Yes.
I love that. And she was also kind of like had to be taken care of and stuff. So
Yes.
that's kind of what I immediately thought of when I saw this promo. And if it's as good as that episode, we're in good shape because I love that episode. I think it's so good.
Okay.
So I don't know. Hopefully it'll be in similar quality at least.
Yeah, I hope the story is original. One of my least favorite elderly abuse episodes is the one with the old lady who's living with her son and his girlfriend, and she's selling her drugs, her like medication for money for them, and then his girlfriend gets murdered. And they think that it's her, or she thinks that it's her son, or whatever. That was one of my least favorite elderly episodes.
Yeah.
So I need it to be better than that.
Yeah. So anywhere on that, that's how we're judging it. That's the scale by which we're measuring how good this elderly episode is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
'Cause
know.
we did have an elderly rape episode where it was little kids.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was an earlier season. It was a little boy and then an older boy who was slow, and so he hung out with this little boy.
Oh, wait. Maybe I do remember this now that you say that.
And so they were raping and murdering they raped and murdered an old lady.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yikes.
SVU!
SVU.
That's what we love about this show. Weird
So
stuff.
twisted.
But until then, where can people keep up with you for the poll?
You guys can find me on Twitter at alphabet_Ann, on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I also will do the Rise finale on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and I hosted the 100 After Show Tuesday at 11.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And you can find me there. Yup. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.